It's like over.
Okay, so I've already.
And this something we kind of went over takes us to want to just keep things. Okay. Dressed up a little bit extra today. We're here at a site visit. It's actually for a brand. They're opening up a new warehouse and we're kind of taking a look, seeing if we can help them out with the WMS. It's not the typical setup, but in some ways it's actually better for us to get in early. They don't have an existing WMS, and the warehouse should be just about empty with only racking inside. So we'd be taking over from day zero, which is good in some ways, and we'll have to see what extra work or custom work needs to be done to get them fully online. Pretty sure we just saw someone that we're meeting walk in, so we'll put the camera down and then we'll run through how it went afterwards. Okay, we just got back into the office. I think the meeting went really well. We did a little tour of their place and then we spoke with the owner. I think they fit really well into kind of the ICP that we would have for a specific brand. They fully sell on Shopify, which is great for us. That's already an integration that we have. So I'm gonna get back to the owner today with an email going over kind of the basics of what we're offering, and then we'll include a quoted price. We have been thinking of different pricing models and different strategies, but I think for this customer specifically, a flat fee would make the most sense. Other WMS products have different ways of pricing, so they'll either have a flat fee and then charge you per user or charge you per shipment, and combinations of that. But I think for this client specifically, we want to keep things as simple as possible, just because they're starting from the ground up, like from zero. We want to keep things easy and keep things predictable. We were also asked for a business card, which we don't have. I guess going forward, if we are doing more site visits or we want to just leave our contact information with a certain person, we are going to have those made. That's it for now. Going to work on that email.
Okay, so this is our old website. Leon actually put this together with the cool animation, but recently a couple clients have reached out and asked us why we don't have a website. So I'll show you this one first. This is the animation. And then it was just like kind of a wait list where anyone could come in and write down their email. Now we've moved on to an actual website because clients wanted a way to reach out to us and kind of see what we do. So this one actually has a couple of demo screenshots and some of the features that we're looking to implement and have already implemented. But the main point of this website is just to have something that a client can come to and see what Canopy is all about. We actually got a chance to try out Claude Design. It was down earlier today, but once it came back up, we tried it out. It does use a lot of your usage, but we were able to quickly create the design system and then pass it over to Claude Code. And then Claude Code, I was able to make some edits because I didn't want to spend too much time on a public-facing website because we do have a lot of feature work to be doing. But yeah, this is the new website. We do kind of miss the old animation, so let us know if you guys think that's missing from this new website, or if you have any cool ideas for what you like to see on a website. But so far, that's what we got now.
Okay, just want to take some time to review how that meeting went. So initially going into the visit, Afras and I were really excited because this business only runs their orders through Shopify. And this new warehouse that they're opening isn't used for distribution to their actual physical retail locations. They have a large number of SKUs, but most of them are fast movers. We feel like the setup is really great in terms of number of SKUs, number of average orders, and then the number of people that they're going to have within the warehouse itself. Afras might have mentioned it in the previous video, but we're working on integrating with all the different marketplaces and online storefronts. One of the risks in not being connected to as many as possible is that if you're onboarding a 3PL customer, for example, and they have one brand that sells on Etsy, for example, you might lose the entire deal because they don't want to dump that one customer in order to onboard into your WMS. So the good thing about this specific brand is that they 100% sell on Shopify and they're fully committed to just growing that side of the business. One of the things that we didn't discuss in that meeting was pricing. And this is something that we're actively working on as well. Typically in most industries, B2B SaaS, and that pricing is completely custom and hidden behind a demo wall. And what we want to do is try to make things as simple as possible. Right now, what we're looking at is a one rate flat fee, and we can offer two different versions of this. One will be a 12-month commitment, and another will be a month-to-month commitment. The difference is for the yearly commitment, we're not going to charge an implementation fee. So the time it takes Afras and I to be on site, to troubleshoot, to train their employees, to just make sure everything is smooth, we're not going to be billing for. The risk that you have in not charging an implementation fee when you're working month to month or even a 6-month payment cycle is that you could be doing all of this work essentially for free if they only commit for 1 month or a few months at a time. So you want to protect yourself upfront to make sure that any custom work or anything ad hoc that will add to kind of your expected implementation timeline is covered. And that's really important for us because we're such a small team right now and we don't want to be spread so thin across different pilot customers when we're already limited in terms of bandwidth. So we heard back from the owner of the business that we met with today. We're going to be following up this weekend actually at one of his retail locations to go through what next steps would look like and then hopefully solidify the pricing. So that meeting is going to be later on this week on Sunday, and we'll keep you guys updated hopefully at the end of the video. One more thing that I wanted to mention is that if you're seeing this part of the video, that means we have committed to hiring an intern, which is pretty exciting for us and a pretty full circle moment because we're going to be posting this job description on Waterloo Works. So if you are currently a Waterloo student and you work in software, you will be able to find this job posting. I know some people have messaged me and I've met with a few people who are looking for work, but for this first internship role, I think it was appropriate for us to kind of go back to our roots and hand this opportunity back to where it all started for Afras and I in our careers. You guys are definitely going to see what the whole interview process looks like for us and how we come to make our decision in a future vlog. Today's date is April 29th, so we have to submit our formal job posting in the next couple of days to make sure it's out for cycle 1. We're super excited to have the help and have someone join our team for the first time. In last week's video, we kind of went over what the product looks like. We haven't really gone through all the different pillars of the business and what that translates to here out in the warehouse. So we decided we would take this opportunity to show you guys. If you noticed in our previous videos, we had to kind of blur things. We just want to keep the brands in here private. The 5 pillars of warehousing that I mentioned previously, the first one is receiving. So when you get pallets like this from your manufacturer or your factory from China, the warehouse intakes these and they're usually stored on the floor here or up in the overhead locations. And that brings us to the second step. So after inventory is mass stored in the overhead non-pickable locations, the second step is replenishment. So individual items on an as-needed basis is brought down here into the pickable bins. And then from there, that takes us to the third step, which is actually picking. So you've probably seen in the previous video, we walk around with these carts, and the carts have all these little bins that we're picking the individual orders items out from. And then that takes us over to packing. And you guys would have seen us here packing the orders in the previous videos. So usually you would pull up to the station with your cart full of orders, and then one at a time you would process each order, pack it in its own packaging, put the label on it, and then it would go over to the shipping area where the packages are ordered by carrier. So then when the truck from UPS comes, for example, it would take the entire bin full of all the UPS orders from that day. And the same thing would be done for every single carrier that a 3PL or a warehouse or a brand works with. Just like I was mentioning, all the orders would go into big bins like this, and then you can assume each one of these is going to go out at the end of the day for a different carrier. That's step number 5. One extra step is returns. That's in a separate area typically. It's sometimes an add-on service that 3PLs don't like working with just because it is pretty labor intensive to go through every single order, check if the product is broken, and then qualify that product if it can be repackaged and sold again. Talk to you guys soon.
Okay, so a lot of work this week has been on a big authentication refactor for the application. Luckily, we're using a third-party service called Clerk that I think they're a startup too, but they give you pre-built components and they generate all the JWT tokens and stuff like that. So I don't have to go through that process, which is good, and it should be a lot more secure to have a third-party service doing that kind of stuff. So far, so good. The refactor that I've been working on this week and why it's important is because this allows us to add another level to the hierarchy. So it's called a tenant. So we can have multiple 3PLs or brands on the system at the same time, and their data is all isolated. What that means is that there's no chance that a 3PL can see another 3PL's data or even another brand that's not part of their 3PL. So that's been a big part of the refactor because we want to start piloting with multiple different clients. And in order to have them all on the same system, they should not be able to see each other's data. So that's the focus of this week so far.
Things are a little bit different on my phone. It's Sunday morning. Today we have another appointment, another meeting with the person that we met with last week. We have a few physical locations. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but we're at one of them. We're going to talk a little bit more about pricing. We're going to talk a little bit more about the onboarding process and what day-to-day looks like using our WMS. After I should be pulling up in a little bit. We're super excited. We feel like we're really close to closing this deal, and it's going to take a little bit more to get it over the finish line. But we're super excited to meet him. He's been incredibly enthusiastic about what we've been building, and I think it's just learning a little bit more about the specifics that'll help close out the deal. It's currently 10:45, meetings for 11. I'm going to wait around for Afras, and then we'll probably head into the store together. Okay, so I should have a golf lesson, which is pretty exciting. The meeting went really well. I'll touch on it a bit later on, but just putting my shoes on right now, and then I'm excited. I'm playing in a tournament later on this month. So I want to get a little bit better and a little bit more consistent so I can contribute to the team. But I'll see if I can get some footage inside. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Basement, good, don't move. Does that feel different at the end? There, don't. Club to me. Yes!
Okay, welcome back. We're at the office. It's 4 o'clock. Over the last few weeks, I've been reserving Sunday for editing. So right now I have to start and finish editing last week's video. And that's kind of my goal for the end of the day. To be honest, yeah, 4 o'clock. I feel like we did a lot today. I'm not sure if I gave a proper update earlier. I was kind of in a rush, both before the meeting that we had and then before my golf lesson. But I think the meeting went well. We have to put kind of a final list of terms together and what our multi-year relationship is going to look like. So the exact services that we're going to provide for them, what the onboarding process looks like. This brand did fulfillment in-house before, so they didn't have a designated fulfillment warehouse where they were handling all their Shopify orders. They were basically picking off of their retail store shelves to fulfill the orders. So it's going to be a little bit of a transition going from retail store fulfillment into designated warehouse fulfillment, but I think Afras and I are pretty excited about that. We're pretty happy with the terms of the deal. We think it makes sense kind of for both parties, for us and the customer. I think everyone's kind of on the same page and the value from all sides makes sense. So for the WMS and the services that we're going to be providing them, and then kind of the feedback iteration, and then having them on as one of our early partners, it's going to be really great for us. One last thing is Toronto Tech Week is coming up. At the time of recording, it's May 3rd, but I think by the time this video comes out, Toronto Tech Week is going to be around the corner. I'm still kind of undecided about if I want to be incredibly involved throughout the week or not. So if anyone's watching this and is going to be present there at Toronto Tech Week, let me know in the comments below or DM me on Instagram and we can kind of connect and share our schedules. I'm just not sure what the value is going to be. Not to sound transactional, but I think the next 2 weeks are going to be really busy for onboarding this client that we're hopefully going to close the next few days, and just a lot of R&D and grinding for us. So I'm not sure if I want to spend, a few long days or, the entire week out of the office. I just feel like it might not be entirely worth it for our stage in the business right now. Throughout some of these events, you get to meet founders. I feel like a lot of these other events are catered towards finding investors and things like that. And we're just not at the stage where we're looking to fundraise. I would say as a whole, the main reason why I'm considering going is to meet other interesting people who are trying to build in, similar spaces or are in similar steps within their journey. I think it's super interesting. I'm not fully decided yet. So maybe you guys down in the comments, or if you're reaching out, you can let me know, and maybe we can link up at some of these events. That's going to be everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. If you're here, subscribe, like, leave us a comment. We read every single comment and we'll try to reply to all of them as well. If you want to see anything in future videos, let us know. We'll try our best to add it in, and we'll see you guys next week.